Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming back out. We appreciate it. It's been a very eventful and productive summer, and we're very excited by, you okay over there? Very excited by the transactions we've been able to make. And first, let me begin by congratulating our Summer League team playing for the championship tonight. Congratulations to Pat Connolly, our Summer League GM, who's basking in the glory of the team's success, along with Coach Nate Bjorkgren, who has done a terrific job, and our entire staff over there. And it's a long process, Summer League, because they've been there 10 or 12 days and kept the guys playing hard and playing well. And so you may recall a couple of years ago we made it to the championship game, and that really was a stepping stone for a great season. So we're hoping that we'll have a similar result this year, only this year we want to try to win the championship. Since we've last met, we've completed transactions with Sonny Weems and Mirza Teletovic, and welcome back Ronnie Price. And I think we are maybe not quite done, but almost done with our summer work, and congratulate Ryan and Jeff and our entire staff on the moves we've made. It's been a terrific summer. We've filled a lot of needs, both on the court, in the locker room, off the court. But nothing that we have done has been more important than re-signing Brandon Knight. And it's gratifying to have him here in his orange shirt, showing his true color. It is orange, right? His true colors and spirit for the Suns. And
we'll call it orange.
We'll call it orange for these purposes. It's not purple, but it's orange. Let me begin by introducing his family. Ephraim is here. His dad. Stand up, say hello. Tanya, his mom.
How you doing?
And Darren Matsubara, his agent, who we affectionately known as Mats. And it's been a pleasure to work with Mats on this contract, and his professionalism was very well appreciated by all of us here. So you all know the end of last season was a little rocky, and a large part of that was because Brandon wasn't healthy. And so we're very, very excited to have him back in good health and build on what we thought we had last year around the trade line, and are very confident that we'll have going forward. Let's try to keep our questions to Brandon and about him, and if anybody wants to talk about other topics, obviously we can do that after. So with that, I'll turn it over to Brandon, and he can say a few words, and then we'll just open it up for questions.
Thank you, Lon. But just first off, it's definitely a great experience. First, I just have to thank God just for being able to be in this position. I mean, what can I say? I wasn't here for long, but once I got here, from day one, the organization showed me first class how they do things. You know, they really did things the right way. Asked my opinion on a lot of things, welcomed me with open arms, and showed how much they wanted me. And I think that's a big reason as to why, you know, I wanted to commit so early in the process instead of dragging it out and being wined and dined by certain teams. I just really knew after being here for a couple months, you know, where my heart was at. I spent a lot of time in the community while I was here. And like I said, I love the guys here. I love the teammates. I love the coaches. And I love, you know, the city of Phoenix. And I love what the organization is doing and what it means to the city. So it kind of made my decision to get it done quickly a no-brainer. You know, with the coaching staff that we have, the young talent, adding Tyson Chandler, the signings that we had this summer, with a great front office guys that are doing their, you know, the most they can do to improve our team. Everything is in line with what you want for a championship caliber team. So if our guys continue to get better and we continue to stay on the same page, you know, the sky's the limit for this team. So Like I said, that really influenced my decision to come back. And like I said, when you have a first-class organization that wants you, but what I've been through thus far in my career, getting better each year, and trying to find a home, is very important to me. So, like I said, I'm thankful for the Suns for this opportunity. Thankful to all you guys, and I'm looking forward to making the best of it.
You gotta love this guy, right? And it was gratifying for us to be able that very first night to get a commitment from Brandon, and then follow that up with meetings with Tyson. So we knew we were able to hit the ground running, and that reflected well on our organization. So let's open it up for questions, and as Julie said, just identify yourself first.
Brandon, Dave King with Bright Side of the Sun. So you, on the night of July 1st and June 30th through July 1st, can you just take us through how that unfolded, and what if there were other teams interested, and who called, and when, at what point you stopped even entertaining that?
I mean, it was fairly quick. These guys made me a fair offer, a very fair offer. So like I said, with what I had been through, and being here, for half the season, or a little bit less than half the season, I didn't play much, but I got to be around. I got to see how things were done. I got to see the direction that things were going in. I didn't really entertain many other teams. Like I said, that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I knew the city of Phoenix. I knew what it was like. I knew I enjoyed it. I know I didn't like the snow, so it made my decision a lot easier. And so, I mean, we met July, the night of July 1st, or the morning of July 1st, and like I said, it was fairly easy.
Let me follow up on that, Dave. I have a few points to add about just how unselfish Brandon was throughout the process. We kicked around a few different ideas about where we were going to be. On the night of June 30th, free agency can start at midnight Eastern on July 1, so 9 o'clock out here. And we decided it was beneficial to be in L.A., and that's where Brandon's agency, the Wasserman Group, and his agent, Darren Matsubara, they're based out of L.A., so we were going to be out there, and we asked Brandon, we were going to do whatever he wanted us to do. He's from South Florida, so we were willing to fly there. We could have met him here in Phoenix, and he said, what's best for you guys and what's best for the team, and that's what I'll do, and that's where I'll meet you. So we said, well, it'd be great if we could meet in L.A. Right at 9 o'clock on the first day of free agency. He said, no problem, I'll be there. And one of the things that was reassuring to us after we sat down with Brandon and Darren and went through the process and made our offer is that they said, we don't need to talk to anybody else. He said, you guys made us a fair offer. Like Brandon said, Phoenix is where we want to be. And he said, what else can I do to help the team? And we said, well, a few things. We're going to meet with Tyson Chandler after we're done with you. He said, Tyson would be great. How do I help get him? And then once we got Tyson committed, he said, can I join you guys? Is it okay if I join you guys in the meeting tomorrow to go meet with LaMarcus Aldridge? So every step of the way, the theme has been the same. It's been sacrifice and unselfishness. I think the most unselfish thing he's done is the reason why we're holding this press conference on July 20th is that by utilizing his cap hold, and what the cap hold is, it's based on his previous salary, and by utilizing his low cap hold, we were able to do all this other stuff we wanted to do this summer, including sign Tyson Chandler and Mirza Teletovic and Sonny Weems and on and on. And Brandon committed almost 3 weeks ago now, and he said, "I'll wait. Whatever's best for the team." It wasn't about him. It wasn't about his day in the sun. We assured him that day would come, and it's today, and we're happy for it. But that's been a consistent theme with him, and we certainly appreciate his sacrifice. And I think it tells you a lot about what kind of player he is and what kind of person he is.
Hi, Brandon. Richard Sines, Fox 10 Phoenix. Congrats on your day in the sun and the new contract. Just tell us about being signed with this team now for a good long time, and being able to team up with another young guard in Eric Bledsoe, another Kentucky guy, and kind of building that relationship with him as this team moves forward.
Definitely. I mean, I've known Eric for a while now, and having a chance to play with him, I think, is pretty special, considering we went to the same school consecutive years. Both kind of in the same situation, one and done, play for the same head coach. And so we have a lot of similarities, and we also have a lot of differences as well. But me and him get along fine. I'm a little bit more of a talker than he is. I mean, we're both pretty quiet, though, but, we find a way to make it work. And I look forward to building a relationship with Eric. Eric is a great player, a great talent, and, he does a lot of, things that I know I can compliment him and he can compliment me. And that's what it's about, making it work. And like I said, when you have two guys that just want to win, and that's what, we've been bred to do our entire lives is win games, and especially going to Kentucky and now coming here, the most important thing to do is to win. So, like I said, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to work together to take those steps as, the starting backcourt to make that happen.
Coach, Michael Nowles, Cronkite News. What does it mean? You guys have had a lot of turnover recently, obviously. What does it mean to be able to have someone like Brandon come in and have a long-term contract and be able to run the team, obviously, from the point guard position?
Yeah, no, it's obviously when you're a coach, you want your guys to be here for several years so they can get to know each other, grow at the same time. And coming 2 years ago, Ryan's made a lot of changes, and when you go from 25-win team, you kind of have to turn things over. And now we're at a point where we have a lot of guys under long contracts, so now we can, I think it'll be pretty stable from this point on, and to have Brandon, who's locked in for 5 years with us, and just from what we saw, I think at the end of the season last year, like you said, he only played 11 games, but we really liked what we saw. I think there was a lot of talk out there. How do you commit to that? Commit to a guy when you only saw him for 11 games? Well, we saw him for 4 years prior to that, and the way he plays, the leadership capabilities, the shooting, just him playing the right way. I think we're at a point now where I think the first couple of years was how do we grow some of the players that we have that maybe didn't play before. And get them to a point and a level where they're players that are contributing a lot of minutes. We're past that stage now. Now we have guys that we know can play, and now we have to just mold them into a team that can win games. And Brandon brings that winning mentality. Everything you talk to him about. We talk about sets, talk about different things, and it's all about winning. And so I feel right now, when I look at our roster, we got a group of guys that's their main focus. It's not like how can I get my next contract or how can I get my points or my rebounds or whatever. It's about winning, and that, from coach's standpoint, that's a great feeling.
Hey, Brandon. Paul Coroisi, Central Sports. You went through such a startling change and then had the injury. How did you find your comfort with the system to do a long-term deal, or did you learn a lot from it, from being on the outside too and not just playing it?
Yeah, I think me sitting down, not saying getting hurt is a good thing. Definitely don't want to be hurt, but I think it did have some positives to being able to sit down and see what was going on. You get to kind of slowly take it in. I feel if I would have been playing the entire time, it would have been kind of a whirlwind, which is what it was when I first got traded. So once I got hurt, I was really able to sit down and really think things through and, really see what was going on with the Phoenix Suns. And like I said, everything that I saw, from top to bottom, starting with Robert, all the way down to, the last guy on the end of the bench and our trainers, everything about the Suns. Like I said, I've been on 3 teams already, so everything about the Suns was different. It felt good, it felt right. So when you have that feeling, you kind of just go with it.
Matt Peterson, Suns.com. Ryan, small sample size with Brandon in a Suns uniform, but you followed up with a big commitment. What was the thought process there, and how comfortable did you feel going about that?
Well, we felt extremely comfortable, Matt. As Coach mentioned, we don't obviously just start evaluating these guys when they get to Phoenix. We've been watching Brandon for a number of years, going back to his year at Kentucky. And I think one of the things that stood out every step of the way is that he's won, everywhere he's been. And also he's improved every year. If you look at his stats, this past year, that he was borderline All-Star in the Eastern Conference. We thought he probably should have made the All-Star team in the East, and we were fortunate to get him at the trade deadline. And you look at how Milwaukee played this year prior to the All-Star break, and I think Brandon was as big of a reason as anybody for that success, and they didn't play quite as well after the break. And so he's a guy that when you look at his work ethic and you look at his improvement, those things are consistent, and those things won't change. When you look at how his teams did, again, with and without him last year, Milwaukee played better with him than without. We played better with him when we were right in the thick of the playoff race, and then he got injured, and our team really fell off, late in the year. So we place a great value on all that. And then the other thing I think is important to keep in mind, Matt, is his age. We're looking at some of the guys in the draft who are 4- and 5-year players in college, and they're the same age that he is right now. So the fact that he has 4 years of NBA experience under his belt, the fact that he's played at an extremely high level, and the fact that we think his best days and his best basketball are ahead of him made us very confident that we wanted to commit to him, and we were able to do it for the longest term possible for 5 years, and that's something that we've felt strongly about doing with the guys we have identified as our core guys. I think the good teams have continuity and stability, and we started to build toward that over the past couple of years.
Brandon, Dave King with Bright Side of the Sun. So you committed to the organization this spring after you had time to think about it, but really you had to also commit to the position you'll be playing next to Eric Bledsoe, sharing the point guard duties. In the past, you've wanted to be the primary point guard on your team. How did you come to that conclusion that you really just wanted to play next to Eric for the next 4 years of your career?
I've definitely wanted to play on the ball. I'm not going to, sit here and say I didn't want to, or that wasn't a concern of mine, but throughout my career, I've always played with another guy that can handle the ball. Even when I was in Milwaukee, I had that. When I was in Detroit, I had that. So it's not anything that I'm not used to. And like I said, me having such a great relationship with Eric, it made that decision kind of easy for me. We're going to make it work. And, I've been told continuously by this guy, it's not about who's on the ball, who's off the ball. It's about making the right play. And like I said, when it comes down to winning, who's on the ball, who's off the ball, like I said, the right play will be made.
Paula Bovin, AZ Central Sports. Brandon, I think when you talk to Suns fans, they're sort of hungry for a go-to guy, someone who wants the ball with the game on the line. How do you feel about those kind of expectations, and how do you feel you fit in with that?
I enjoy those type of situations. The way I look at it is I work very hard to shoot those kind of shots, or to step up in those kind of situations, whether it be making the shot or even just making the play that leads to the shot, or even getting a hockey assist. Whatever it is, it's just about making the right play. And in those certain situations, sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't. But I think it's just about not having any fear or any fear of failure. When I'm in those situations, I do my best to, like I said, take advantage of it, and I enjoy them because I know I worked for those moments.
Given how tough the West is, how do you feel like you guys are a better team now to contend for the playoffs? Just
because of the pieces that we've added. I think, like I said, adding Tyson, with our draft pick this year, all the pieces that we're adding, and as we continue to grow together, I think we'll be very good, even in the West. When you have a guy like Tyson, I think he's such a game changer because he's been there, he's done it, and that's kind of, I think, one of the biggest things we were missing was a guy that's a veteran that we can kind of look up to, kind of respect, that can kind of show us the ropes. And like I said, he can really do that, especially defensively. I think we have a lot of firepower offensively, and I knew we needed to improve defensively, and I think our management did a great job going out and finding a guy that's going to help us not only defensively but offensively as well. Tyson sets a lot of good screens that some of us call illegal, but
that was off the record.
Yeah, you guys don't tell it to anybody, but Tyson, I enjoy playing with him, but he's a big part of the reason as to why I'm very confident about how well we'll do in the West.
Let me just respond to that also. There's a point I wanted to make, which is that, I think we all recognized last year that we had a deficiency of leadership and maybe a deficiency of maturity and maybe even a deficiency of professionalism at times. And if you look at what we've accomplished this summer, we have we've gained in those areas, but across the spectrum of our roster. So we now have leadership from a true veteran in Tyson Chandler. We have added Teletovic, who I think you're all going to enjoy and get to know. But we also have leadership from Ronnie Price coming off the bench, and we all know what a great teammate he is. And then Brandon and Eric, younger guys who are also going to take the mantle of leadership going forward. So throughout the spectrum of our roster now, I think we've just gotten better leadership, better professionalism, and when you put all that together, I think it's going to serve us well. But that's really the way we look at it, is kind of what did we miss last year and how did we address it? And I think we addressed it in a lot of different ways with a lot of different players, with a lot of different points at where they are in their careers, and that will serve us well. So I think that's significant.
Matt Peterson, Suns.com again. Jeff, you've made a point of saying after Brandon got here how good he is at communicating with teammates. Is there a value when you've got two guys in the backcourt where their personalities complement each other as much as their games?
Yeah, again, if you look at what happened last year, you're looking for leadership. And when you have, now with Tyson at the defensive side of it, you also need somebody at the point guard, and Eric and Brandon, who can kind of team up and be the leaders on, as the ball, they have the ball most of the time, they're going to have to call the plays, they're going to have to get guys in the right spot. And, like you said, Eric's probably a little more on the quiet side, where, when Brandon came in and right off the bat, he was trying to, he was talking. And that's hard to do. When you get traded from a team and all of a sudden you're thrown to a team that's maybe been together, it's very difficult to go right off the bat and try to be that leader. But Brandon tried that, and and the guys started to listen, and we're from there it was a sign to me that, okay, if these guys are kind of listening to Brandon right off the bat, that they're looking for that leader, and so again, it was an easy decision for me when we were talking with Ryan that, hey, we have to have Brandon back. This guy is he's going to be special for us. So I saw it back in. I was coaching in Utah when the draft, we brought Brandon in for a draft workout. And, he came in on his own for an individual workout. And I think we put you, I don't know if you remember that one. We went about an hour and 10 minutes, I think, of just by yourself. It was awfully hard to go through that workout. And I think I asked him twice, you want to get a glass of water? You want some water? He goes, no, I'm good. And just kept going. So we saw that work back then. And he probably doesn't know this. The Jazz had the 3rd pick in the draft that year, and going into it, you didn't know if you were going to. This was prior to the lottery, so we thought, well, maybe if we drop and we talk about all the guys, and I think Kyrie was the first pick that year,
Right.
And then Derek Williams and Enes Kanter, and I said, I have no problem. I think we should pick Brandon 4th if we drop to 4. I don't know who went 4, 5, 6. What did you go, 7? 8. What would you think? 8. So, 8. So he probably thought he should go 4 or higher. So, that. Yeah. So, we knew he was going to be a great player. Even back then in Utah.
Are you happy you brought that up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had to get that off my chest.
This question is for Jeff. So this is your 3rd season in a row you're going to enter with a dual point guard system, and clearly you guys have done this on purpose by design. Tell me how differently you envision these guys playing together than Eric and Goran did in the last 2 years.
Well, I don't think it's going to be that much different. Either guy can handle the ball. The best way to run a fast break and get out and run is to hit the nearest guy, and whether that's Brandon or whether it's Eric, and then the other guy fills the lane. And I thought it worked very well 2 years ago with the team we had, and you saw it going in making 3rd team All-NBA. Eric took some great strides, and he averaged 16, 17 points a game that year. So, last year was, a little different because we had probably one too many guys back there, but that won't be the case this year. Eric and Brandon, when one of them are out of the game, the other guy's the lone point guard, and that's what we had a couple years ago, and they're gonna, their familiarity with each other. They'll know when one guy needs to get the ball a little bit more. It's not just going to be one guy having the ball, and I think they'll work together great in figuring that out. So, we're going to move the ball side to side too. So, to me as a coach, when you go into games, you're thinking, when you're trying to stop the other team, you're always looking for okay, we can stop that guy by doing this or that. I think teams, when they look at us, go, okay, how do we stop Eric? Okay, well, go ahead and try that. Ball's going to get swung over to Brandon's hand. Now you got to deal with Brandon over on the other side, or vice versa, and it puts a lot of pressure on the other teams defensively. So, I think it'll work great.
Brandon, Richard Science, Fox 10 again. You touched on both of these topics on wanting to hurry up and get the contract stuff out of the way and not have to be wined and dined by other teams. And you also talked about playing for your third team at such a young part of your career. How nice is it to get those things out of the way, the contract, and know you're going to be home with one team for a while and kind of get the business side out of the way and just focus on basketball?
It's great. I think I kind of struggled with that early on in my career. Just knowing that a lot of stuff is done through business, and it's never personal. But a lot of business decisions are made that affect the basketball sometimes. So just for me, like I said, to be in a situation that worked out for me, I'm definitely thankful for the things I've been through because, like I said, it helped me grow as a player, really helped me mature, really helped me learn. So like I said, when I can get into a situation where I can truly focus on the basketball, I think it'll help myself. And I'm a guy that likes to make people around me better, so I can really focus on making our young guys better, and making the players around me better. And that's what it's all about.
Young guys, you're young.
I'm young and old at the same time.
Lon, you've been around the league long enough to know how quickly the fans can embrace players in Suns uniforms who really want to be here. How satisfying is it to hear guys like Brandon and guys like Alex Len, who have been so involved lately, who just throw themselves into being a Phoenix Sun in general?
Well, I mean, I've said many times that I think this is a wonderful place to live, a wonderful place to play, and that we've done everything we can over the last few years to make this the most player-friendly environment, not only for the players but for their families, training staff, family room, all those kinds of things. It's been very gratifying for me this summer to have some of that resonate with the players that we've brought in here, uniformly pointing out that they think this is a wonderful place to live and a wonderful place to play. And, Brandon could have had many choices, no question about that. And the fact that he was willing to commit to us so quickly without any hesitation and equivocation, again, reinforces that view that we're on the right track and making this an extremely attractive place to play. And it's what I always believe. It's what I believe when I was an agent, and I think we've improved upon that in the time that I've been here, and we'll continue to get better in that. So it's extremely gratifying. Is that it? I'm happy to say there's no jersey today.
You already had that. Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.